This is College Hockey Southwest Weekly, your source for college hockey in the desert Southwest, part of the IcetimeHockeySW.com family. College Hockey Southwest Weekly is presented by College Bar and Grill, 502 South College Avenue in Tempe, and online at ilovecollege.co. Now, here are your hosts, Scott Strandy, and I'm Tom Callahan.
Welcome in to another episode, another edition, College Hockey Southwest Weekly. He's back, he's recovered. Tom Callahan's back with me, my co-host. Tom, first of all, I'm glad you're feeling better and glad you're back here at the beautiful, friendly confines of Oceanside Ice Arena.
You know what, Scott? I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. So let's roll with this. And Arizona State, they got to be feeling pretty good too. 6 games left in the season. They come off a split. And now coming off a bye week, a big weekend series coming up with RIT. But I'll tell you what, you feel good when your fate's in your hands, and that's where the Sun Devils are.
Absolutely, and let's not bury the lead. The magic number is 5, Tom. That's what I've been saying all along. It's 22 wins on the season. 6 games left means what? Just 1 loss is all we can afford.
Well, let's not put any pressure on them. I mean, that's but no, seriously, it's they played so well to this point of the season. They're used to it, and Coach Powers has said all year there's no pressure on us. But they do have to find ways to win these games, go into RIT, which can be a hostile environment. They're not having the best year, but they've started to win a little bit lately. They've got to take care of business here at home against AIU, and then a tough trip to Minnesota to round out the regular season. So they've got to bring their A game every night.
Absolutely, and coming off of a split at Boston, Joey Decord with another shutout gives him 7, nation-leading 7th shutout, and he's recorded 823 saves on the season. As an old goaltender, are you feeling those yet?
Well, that's a lot of work. Even for a youngster like Decord, that is a lot of work. But you know what? I mean, consider the college game versus the pro game at this point of the season. They're guys at 1,400 to 1,700 saves if they're seeing a lot of pucks. So, Joey gets his rest every week. And they've got, right now the schedule actually sets up pretty nice. They've got the bye weeks built in. They can get some practice, get some rest. So he's played a lot, but he's the horse. And they're riding him, and he's doing great. And so congratulations to 7 shutouts on the year. That's not a small feat, and he'll say it's a team accomplishment. It is, but he's given him big saves at the right times and helped him win some games.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the big thing coming down the stretch is Joey's got to perform, but Johnny Walker back on the score sheet again with 2 goals. Now he has 21, leading all of NCAA hockey by 4 goals, I believe, on the season. So while his assist total's not there, the goal scoring is.
Well, and some guys are just shooters, and Johnny Walker is a shooter. And, you put the puck towards the net, good things happen. He's figured that out. Guys feed him the puck. And, hey, you know what? Somebody's got to score goals for your team to win games.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with our special guest, your special guest, a little reunion of Buffalo people, or at least Buffalo connections. How about that with Arizona State assistant coach Alex Hicks?
Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion at College Bar and Grill. Located across the street from the iconic A Mountain and Sun Devil Stadium and a quick walk from Wells Fargo Arena, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for Arizona State athletics. College Bar and Grill. Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion. Online at ilovecollege.co.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back here on College Hockey Southwest Weekly, a little segment we're calling Planting the Pitchfork. We're joined by Alex Hicks right now. And, Coach, first of all, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks.
So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of different things. First of all, you were named to the ECHL Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that. Talk to us a little bit about what that means for you.
Well, it was a big surprise, number one, when they called me and told me a couple months ago that I was going to be inducted. But then once I thought about it and got my head wrapped around it a little bit, it was such a long time ago, it became very exciting. I was honored, obviously, very humbled. I was fortunate enough to fly out there with my wife, and we enjoyed about 3 days out there with going to a few games and going to the ceremony. So it was a great honor. Good to catch up with some old teammates too.
A little chance maybe to relive the playing days too?
Yeah, the glory days there in Toledo. We won 2 back-to-back championships there. And so when you go back, they always say if you win something with guys, you're like brothers forever. And it was true. We went back, and everybody just had story after story, and you had a huge bond with each other, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, in the Storm back in those days, you guys played in that tiny arena, the low glass. I mean, it was a very intimate setting, so I imagine that also fostered that a bit.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable place to play. They have a new building there now, which is state of the art, and they've done an incredible job. But the old sports arena in Toledo was no place for a boy, as I like to say. It was small, and you had to play hard and play tough if you wanted to play in that building. So some very good memories there for sure.
Could you draw a parallel? I've actually been to the new building where the Walleye play now, but could you draw a parallel here to what ASU has? I mean, you've got that building now working towards getting that nice new arena, but right now you've got a building that's small, it's intimate, and has that vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely a home ice advantage for us, and when in Toledo it was a huge home ice advantage. I know the teams didn't want to come in there. I'm sure when a lot of these teams like Michigan State and Alaska and even Ohio State, when they've come here, Boston College have got into this arena and been like, ugh, like we really don't want to play here, and we've taken advantage of that for sure.
Well, talk, if you will, a little bit about becoming, Coach Powers made a comment about everybody, the coaching staff, feeling like you guys are really becoming Sun Devils this year. And Coach Powers obviously has been a part of the program for a long time, but someone like yourself coming in and kind of getting into this culture, what's that been like?
Well, it's been good. I've felt very close to this university right from the beginning, but in the 3-4 years that we've been doing this, I've had a daughter graduate from here. I've gone to some football games and some basketball games. I get tickets to my family members for baseball and golf and all that stuff. So we've all become big fans of all the other sports. And we've heard the guys, sing our fight song, multiple times after games, and we have our big fork or trident, whatever you want to call it, that they all hold and give it for the game's best player. So it's happened fast for me, but more and more, and every day I become a Sun Devil more and more.
And especially this year, the way this team has been going, and the guys talk about it all the time, about this room, the camaraderie, and how guys really feel close to one another. Do you feel that too?
Yeah, you can't win anything or have any success if the guys aren't pulling in the same direction and if they don't truly love each other. And I know the staff really likes every player on this team and has a lot of love for them, and I know they do for each other. So it's really gotten better every year, and this is obviously the best year we've had. Everybody seems to be pulling the rope in the same direction.
Talk to us a little bit about your role with this team. What do you bring to the room, and what are your responsibilities?
I think it's just mainly experience. Everything that we've gone through already, as a team, but on the coaching side of it, I've experienced it as a player, at every level. So I think I can be the voice of reason. I think I can get in Coach Powers' ear a little bit and give him some insight on what I've experienced, not what I necessarily think is the best thing or something that I have all the answers for. It's just something that I've experienced. Like I can say I've experienced this when 15 years ago when this happened, and this is how the coach handled it, or this is what we did, and we tried this and it didn't work. And so it's just experience. And as far as coaching the kids, just getting in their ear a little bit, to help them in certain situations. Nothing huge, but just small things, how to handle a puck better in a certain situation. And a little bit how to adjust their equipment a little bit. I think a lot of these kids just have been given a stick and given a certain curve growing up and not really knowing why they even have it. It just kind of looks cool to them. But trying to get them to change or manipulate their equipment a little bit to help them be a little bit better.
Well, and that's something that, back in the day when the sticks were wood, guys were like surgeons getting their sticks ready sometimes, and it made a difference to them in the way they played the game. Are you finding that's making an impact?
I think so. It's a few of them are a little bit hard-headed and don't necessarily want to always listen, which is fine. I can only offer up, information. If they want to take it, they take it. But back when we had torches on wood sticks, you needed to manipulate it the way you wanted it, and it didn't come stock. It didn't come the same every time. So you had to get it exactly the way you wanted it. But you could also change when you weren't shooting the puck good or you weren't handling the puck good. You could maybe not curve it as much. These guys now get their stick and they get their 36 for the year, or whatever they get, and if they're struggling with it, they can't change it. So you have to kind of get them to try a different pattern or do something different in the summer that they can feel comfortable with once they get here.
Well, and Coach, as you mentioned, you've got the experience, and I got to put in a plug for the Buffalo Stampede roller hockey team, the 1994 champions of RHI. I know you're a part of that team. Having all those different experiences, though, as you say, you play the game at every level. You've been in even roller hockey, and you've been around a lot to see a lot of different things. How important is that to your coaching? I mean, how does that influence what you're able to teach?
Well, I think, teaching or coaching, all it is just passing on experiences. At least that's the way I look at it. I don't go and study film from all these different teams and try to figure out exactly how they're forechecking or how they're running a power play or whatever. You just kind of learn from your experiences. So when I'm coaching, or helping Coach Powers in certain situations, I'm just drawing on experience. It's something I've seen and something that I thought that worked, and maybe this will work for us.
Is there a coach or coaches you look back that really had a big influence on you?
Yeah, well, the biggest is, if you go all the way back to Toledo, was Chris McSorley. He's over in Europe now, coaching the Swiss League. He saw something in me that was that nobody else really did. He felt I had a future to go to a higher level than the East Coast League, and he really warped me and changed the way I played. He changed me from a finesse guy and a skill guy to a guy that could still play that kind of game, but played really hard and borderline dirty, borderline crossing over the line of what's fair and not fair, which 20, 30 years ago was the norm. And he taught me how to be tough and how to fight and how to really use tactics that were not seen as probably fair nowadays, but in order to get me to the next level, and it worked.
Well, in fairness, it's a different game now. Mm-hmm. It's a much different game.
Yeah, it's a totally different game, but you can see all the concussions and all the late hits and the guys getting knocked out and 5-minute charging penalties. And when that stuff happened 15, 20 years ago, there was a price to pay for it. There was usually a brawl. There was usually somebody cross-checking somebody in the face and some sort of fight and some payback, usually in the moment. And that kind of leveled it all off. So if you knew you were going to go really hit somebody hard, even if it was clean, you knew you had to pay the price. Nowadays, it's not like that. I don't know if it's better because, I always think it should be a little bit of an eye for an eye. And usually the guys that play hard, like I played pretty hard, I usually took way more than I gave. I played with Darius Kasparaitis for 2 years, and he was seen as a dirty player, but I could tell you, he took way more punishment than he gave out because guys were always looking for him. So, but I kind of wish it would go back to that a little bit. Like we play teams, there's whatever the team is, and there's a guy that's 5'9" and 180 pounds running around and hitting guys, and there's no price to pay, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I don't know if that's always a good thing.
Well, if you were going to give a piece of advice to a youngster who wanted to aspire to play either pro or college hockey, who maybe is coming up just about reaching high school age, what would you tell them?
Well, I tell them to find their identity, and there's only one guy on each team that can be the leading scorer. So if you're not the skilled guy that's going to be the best player that's going to lead the team, you need to find other things to do. You need to be the hardest worker. You need to block shots. You need to finish all your checks. You obviously have to be still pretty good where you can actually make plays, but don't just try to be one-dimensional and try to get points. Do everything right, and coaches like guys that can come in that are good defensively as well. So if you learn how to play in your own end and on the defensive side of the puck, that's something big to have as well. And then the other thing is to be a really good student, because if everything is equal and you're a really good student, we're going to take the good student all day.
Well, Coach Hicks, congratulations again on the Hall of Fame selection. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back in with a great interview with assistant coach of Arizona State, Coach Alex Hicks. And Tom, your thoughts first of all on Coach Hicks and some of the things he's accomplished.
You know what? First of all, had to rep the Buffalo Stampede. They were one and done, but they were world champions that one year. And I'm proud to say I was a season ticket holder that year. But it's just he's well traveled, and I'm well traveled. I've been around the minor league circuit too, and been in the pros, and it's different when you make that climb. When you have played at the lower levels, you see the sacrifices, you know what it takes. And Alex Hicks is a guy who made the sacrifices to get places.
Absolutely.
And that's something you just can't know intrinsically coming into play the game as a youngster. So anything he's able to impart to these kids about what it's like to make that climb and how hard you have to work, and you do have to make sacrifices along the way. And you know what? He's a great example of what you can do if you work hard and you're willing to put in the time.
Well, the mantra here at ASU is be the tradition, and I don't think anybody could lay a better groundwork for that than Alex Hicks. And he had some nice comments to say about Arizona State and what it was like to fully feel like a Sun Devil right now.
Well, absolutely. And you know what? The way this program is going, it's got a family feel to it. And that's what Coach Powers wanted. I think the rest of the coaching staff is doing a great job of that. But the guys who are here are a part of that. And they feel that because, you know what, it's something special to start a program, to the seniors who come in and build something, and juniors. And now the freshmen are seeing what these guys put into this program to bring it to a point where now they could get into a tournament. And you know what, the freshmen, 3 years from now when they're seniors, will have that, hey, I remember when, going on for them too. And that's how you build a champion.
Well, speaking of build, we're sitting at, 17, 10 and 1. We've got 6 games left in the regular season. We got a bye week built in there, here and there. So we're not going to put too much pressure on the guys, but the magic number is 5. I don't care how you get them. You just got to get 5 more wins. I said all season long that I thought this whole season was going to come down to a trip to Minnesota on March 1st and 2nd. Still believe so. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it will, Scott. I think that last weekend in Minnesota is going to be big. They've got to go into RIT, have a good start, especially in game 1. They've got to come out and knock the Tigers out because, as I mentioned, they've been a 500 team most of the year, but they're playing a little better lately. You have to knock that out of them right away, especially when you're on the road. So hopefully ASU can go in there, take that Friday night game, continue the success, and then, you know, as I mentioned, you take care of business at home against AIU, and Minnesota's going to be a big weekend. I'm looking forward to the remaining 6 games. I think this is exciting right now. This is great.
We're talking playoff hockey, folks, in college, and it's not even the playoffs yet. We'll wrap things up today and wish the Sun Devils good luck on another trip into the frigid Northeast as they head up to Rochester, New York, your old stomping ground, kind of.
Yep.
And we'll say good luck to the Sun Devils and join us back here next week on another edition of College Hockey Southwest Weekly.